Hey everyone, welcome back to Kitchen Tricks and Other Positions, and I'm going to be continuing this list of kitchen hacks at number 21. Add a little lemon juice, up to like a teaspoon, to your caramel sauce. I kind of stumbled on this trick back when I was working at a custom bakery back in Chicago, and we had a lot of requests for vegan items, and so I was playing around with caramel sauce and trying to adjust the flavor and make it taste more like caramel and not just sweet. Adding the lemon juice is gonna do a few things. It's gonna kind of like adjust the sweetness level, and it's gonna brighten it a little bit and not make it taste just super sweet. It's not enough to make it taste lemony, but it is going to balance your caramel sauce so that it's not cloyingly sweet. Let your sheet pans cool down between batches. If you're doing something like cookies where you're going in and out of the oven with the same sheet tray, let your sheet tray cool down at least 5 minutes before you start on another batch. If you start putting like your dough onto that sheet tray and it's still really warm, the fats are gonna start melting ahead of time. That could lead to more spread and that can lead to burning. Your cookies will bake a lot more evenly and as they are supposed to and intended to if you start with a sheet tray that is cool or mostly cool. Think about carryover cooking. This applies to both baking and savory cooking as well. Whenever you remove something from the oven or take it off the stove, there is a slight amount of time, about like a 3-minute period, where there is a carryover cooking, where the item will continue to cook even though it's not in the oven or on direct heat anymore. When you're melting chocolate for something like dipping or if you're tempering, you're going to need a lot more than you think. A pound of chocolate may look like a lot when it's in solid form and you're like, that's way too much. But when you start melting it, it's not as much. If you're tempering chocolate, it's gonna be much easier to temper in a large batch rather than doing a small amount that you can't really control as much. Underbake your cookies. This is gonna go back to my carryover cooking tip from before, but underbaking your cookies will do a couple of things. For one, if you underbake your cookies, they will last a little bit longer at room temperature, and it also kind of helps with that chewy factor. Your cookies should always look a little bit wet in the center when you pull them out of the oven. Having said that, there is a fine line between raw dough and underbaked dough. So you kind of have to find that sweet spot, which can kind of depend on your oven and the cookie recipe or whatever recipe you're using. Invest in a bench scraper. This tool has multiple uses. You can obviously scrape your counter down with it. You can also pull dough from a bowl, but I use it for lots of things. I use it to cut large amounts of butter. I use it to transfer ingredients from the cutting board to a pan or a bowl, something like that. You can use it to portion things and cut pieces of dough. It can also be really useful for leveling ingredients. If you are using a recipe that calls for cups rather than weighing, you can level all of your ingredients that way as well. Keep your oven closed. Every time you open the oven, the temperature can drop significantly. Usually it can be between like 10 to 20 degrees, but depending on how long you keep it open for and the type of oven, it can actually drop a lot more than that, up to like 50 degrees, and that's gonna dramatically throw off whatever's in the oven. And things that are really sensitive to a rise, like cakes and souffles and things that really depend on even heat, are really gonna suffer from that, and they can often collapse. So just be careful when you open the oven. If you're making a ganache, the best trick that I have found is to start from the center and use a spatula. If you start in the center and slowly work your way out, that's gonna produce a more even ganache with less air bubbles. And what I like to do personally is I like to add the hot cream to the chocolate, let that sit for about a minute so that the chocolate actually has time to start melting, and then begin. But I also only add half of the cream. I start with that, and then once the cream is kind of fully incorporated to the chocolate, I add the second half of the cream and then work that in. And what that is gonna do is it's gonna help produce a ganache that is more regular in color, and it's gonna be a little bit darker and closer to the original chocolate color. If you add all of your cream in all at once, it's gonna produce a lighter color. Try to use room temperature citrus if you're juicing them. This can be tough because a lot of us keep citrus in the fridge, but if you pull them out ahead of time, like an hour or even the night before, they'll be much easier to juice and you'll get a lot more yield out of it. This may seem a little strange, but taste your dough and batter. along the way. I can't tell you how many times I have started making something, and then later on, because I tasted whatever it was, I realized that I had forgotten a really crucial ingredient like sugar or salt or something along those lines, where it made a huge difference in what I was making. And this also goes for savory cooking as well. Sometimes, you need to adjust the seasoning along the way, and you won't really know until it's finished. The more you season along the way, the better your finished product will be. Thanks for watching part 3 of Kitchen and Food Hacks. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and drop a comment if you learned something or if there's something you want to know more about. I also accept other compliments, so don't be shy. Oh, and hey, did you know I also wrote a few books? I'll just leave this here. Okay, bye.